Hey everybody, JC here with another TNI toy review. And today's review is in association with JediInsider.com, your #1 news source for everything Star Wars. And for today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Star Wars SH Figuarts The Force Awakens Kylo Ren and First Order Stormtrooper figures from Tamasi Nations Bandai. The figures come packaged in a standardized window box packaging. The package or the box on the Kylo Ren figure is a little wider than the one for the First Order Stormtrooper, but they're both very standardized, black with some red metallic borders on them. Up in the corners you have the logo that says from the new film Star Wars The Force Awakens, and then on the window themselves you have in big gold lettering the Star Wars logo and the SH Figuarts logo and a brief bio for the Figuarts line. And then down below we have the name of both characters. On one side of the packaging, we just have that red metallic border with the Star Wars logo and the SH Figuarts logo. And then on the other side, we have images of the figures. Finally, on the back of the packaging for these, we have a look at the actual figures with their accessories in various poses, and then a bunch of writing that I can't really read. Okay, so let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figures outside of the packaging. Now, these figures are basically in the 6-inch scale, and both figures come with a number of accessories. So Kylo Ren has the most accessories between the two figures. He has the lightsaber, which is ignited, and this looks like similar to other Kylo Ren figures, like the Hasbro Black series. You've got the red transparent plastic for the blade. It also sticks out on the side. You've got some crackly effects sculpted on there as well. And then for the handle, they've got pretty nice detailing with the red wire, and you've got some gold for the buttons and stuff, so I like the detailing on that. You also get an unlit handle for him to hold in his hands without having the blade ignited, and then you get a second unlit handle that's got a little peg on it that sticks out so that you can clip it onto his belt. So here's a look at the unlit lightsaber hilt attached to the belt. Now I do think they put the hole on the belt on the wrong side of the figure. In the movie, I think it's on the right side of the figure, or on the right side that he keeps the lightsaber, as here it's on the left side. And we also get 4 different pairs of hands with this one. So we get a pair of open hands where he's like reaching out, trying to grab something with the Force. We've got a pair of hands that are open, like he's Force choking something. You've got a pair of grip hands for holding the lightsaber. And then you've got a pair of closed-fisted hands. And for the First Order Stormtrooper, we get his blaster rifle, which is done with the black and white coloring. You've got some metallic silver on the scope. You've got the little magazine that sticks out on the side. And detailing on this is pretty nice. Now, it does seem a little bit bigger than the one that comes with the 6-inch Hasbro Black Series version. And also, I just want to note that you want to be careful when you are like trying to put the gun in the figure's hand or something and not put too much pressure on that scope, because you can snap it off. The figure then also comes with 3 different pairs of hands. So you've got a pair of closed-fisted hands. You've got a pair of open hands for holding the blaster. You've got the finger that sticks out for the trigger finger. These also double as, like, you know, if you want the figure to point at something, and then you've just got a pair of open kind of grip hands. And putting the hands on the figure is pretty easy. You've just got the little ball joints and you just pop them in. For the figures themselves, with the Kylo Ren figure, we have all vinyl plastic material for the costume, as opposed to like Hasbro's Black Series, which uses a lot of soft goods. And I think it looks okay. I'm not sure which I like better. I think I might like the soft goods a little better, but it doesn't look too bad. You've got the hood, which is a removable piece. You can actually take it off, so if you want him to go around with the mask but not the hood, you can. You just pop the head off and take it out. You do have to kind of push it out a little bit, because the neck piece kind of sticks down in the hole. But again, you can also remove this shawl piece as well if you want to, but I think it looks better with the shawl piece on. And you just have to pop the head down. Detailing and sculpting and the paint applications are pretty good on the figure. Now, the paint applications are basic. There's not really much in the way of washwork or anything. You do have a little bit of darker black on the boots, and then lighter throughout most of the rest of the costume. You've got that texturing sculpted with that checkered pattern on his shirt and the skirt piece, and then you've got like the line work on the inner skirt piece and on his arms and stuff. And that all looks pretty true to what we see in the movie. The belt he wears is pretty pretty basic. You've got that little design for the buckle here in the middle. It is a separate piece. And then, as I mentioned, you've got the little hole on the side where you can plug in the lightsaber. You've got the little nick on the back of the helmet like you've seen with other Kylo Ren figures. And the detailing on the front of the mask is pretty nice. You can't see his eyes through the slits or anything, but again, pretty nice detailing. You've got the silver on this front piece of his mask, which is done with metallic silver. This outer skirt piece that he wears is actually done in separate pieces, 4 separate pieces, and it all attaches up here at the top of this midsection joint, but that allows the figure to retain its movement even though it's a harder plastic and not a soft goods. And then you do have that inner skirt, which is also done in multiple pieces, not to limit the articulation of the legs too much. So for the Stormtrooper, again, nice sculpting detail, basic paint applications. You're just looking at white and black, no wash work, no dirt or anything on the armor, no scratch marks or anything like that. So very clean looking. Now the white they use on the SH Figuarts version as opposed to the white on the Black Series Hasbro one is a little dingier white. It's not quite as vibrant white as the one on the Hasbro figure. But nice sculpting. Now, one thing I do like over the Hasbro one is I like how they've articulated these pouches on the figure's belt so it doesn't limit the leg movement. So all the pouches on the belt you can flip upwards. So I like that feature. Also, they've given the figure articulated shoulder pads so it doesn't limit the arm movement. These shoulder pads don't limit the arm movement too much, so I like that as well. You've got like these little markings. I assume these are some kind of rank markings that all of them have, and they're just little black marks. Now, a little bit of sloppiness on the end here, but it's still much cleaner looking than like the one on my Hasbro figure. That one was much more sloppy looking. I like the sculpting detail. You've got this little canister thing that sticks out the back, and you've got the circle and the 2 lines, and the circle's painted black. And just nice detailing on the arms here. This little sculpting detail. So now this figure does not have the little blaster. It has the rifle, but not the side blaster. And they don't give you a place to attach it to the figure's leg like the Hasbro version. So you don't have that ability on this figure. Okay, so these figures stand. The Kylo Ren figure stands, if you count to the back of his hood, is almost about 6.5 inches tall. And then the First Order Stormtrooper is about 6 inches exactly. Now, compared to their Black Series counterparts, the Kylo Ren is maybe a little bit taller. I'd say they're roughly about the same height, but because the Hasbro one has the soft goods hood, the plastic hood stands up a little bit taller, so that gives them a little extra height. As for the Stormtroopers, actually the Hasbro figure is a bit taller than the Bandai one. Articulation on the Stormtrooper is really good. The head is on a ball joint, so he can look up good, he can look down good, he can look left, and he can look right. And you can pivot the head to the left and right there. You've got that double movement with the neck at the top of the neck and the bottom of the neck, so you have really good head movement. Then you have those figure art inner joints on the shoulders, so gives you good movement there. You can kind of pull the arm out or push it in. It's got good rotation. You can get the arm all the way out, and again, because the shoulder pads are articulated, you've got good movement there, and it doesn't hinder the figure's movement. You've got the bicep swivel. You've got a double jointed knee or elbow, and so you've got good bending at the elbow. Then you've got the ball joints with the hinges on the hands, so you've got the rotation, and then you've got the up and down movement with the hands. You've got the midsection joint, which is basically attached with the ball joint. So you've got a rotation there, and actually, it's actually not a ball joint. It's actually some kind of weird hinge joint. So it actually lifts up, the upper body lifts up a little bit out of the lower body. So it actually gives you pretty good crunching, and then you can actually look back pretty good as well. Now you do get some of that gap between the lower torso and the upper torso when you have them like looking back, or here in the back you get that gap in the back when you have them looking down. But I do like the movement there. You've got a waist swivel, and you can pivot there at the waist. Then at the legs are attached with hinges. So if you want to do the splits, you want to make sure you lift those pouches up. But the legs, you can do the splits good, and then you can get the leg forward pretty good, and you can do the leg back pretty good as well. You've got a thigh swivel. You've got a double jointed knee, so you can bend his knee about that much. And then with the feet, you've got rotation there at the ankle, and you can pivot kind of left and right. It's not what I would call a standard ankle pivot, but you can kind of move the leg left to right. And then you do have toe articulation on these. And no peg holes on the bottom of the feet. So with Kylo Ren, you have the same basic type of articulation as the Stormtrooper. Now with the hood on, the head doesn't look down and back as much. You can, again, take the hood off if you want. Now the hood is a separate piece, so it doesn't limit the head turning, so you can turn the head to the left and the right with no problem. Arms, you again have those joints there where they kind of pop in and out of the arm. You've got that extra chest joint here, so it gives you good movement with the arms. And you can get the arms all the way out. You've got good rotation there as well. You've also got the bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, so good bending at the elbow. You've got the ball joints at the wrist, so you've got good rotation and good up and down movement with the hands. You've got a midsection joint. Basically, you just have the waist swivel with this one, and you can kind of pivot to the left and right there at the midsection or the waist. And then the legs are with those ball joints. And so, again, because all those skirt pieces are separate pieces, you can do the still do the splits good, and you can get the leg forward good, and you can do the leg back pretty good. Does have, let's see, does not have a thigh swivel on this one. Looks like you do have an inner, looks like the ball joint connects to an inner hole in the leg, and then you have a little bit of a swivel there. It's not what I would call a traditional swivel joint, thigh swivel, but you do have some swivel there. And then you have the double jointed knee, so you have good bending at the knee. You have, and then you do have ankle pivot with this one, and pretty decent up and down movement with the foot and toe articulation. No peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, I like the figures. I like the sculpting detail on them. I like the articulation, especially with the Stormtrooper. The accessories are nice. Between the two, I think I like the Stormtrooper the best. The Kylo Ren, I'm not totally sold on the plastic, on the costume. I think I like the soft goods a little bit better, especially with like the hood. Also, as I was posing the figure around more for pictures and stuff, the hands on the ball joints on the Kylo Ren figure do not stay on very well. They have a tendency whenever you start moving around trying to pose it to fall off. Same with the head. The head, when you have the hood on, that doesn't hook into the ball joint all the time nearly as good, so it's kind of a pain in the butt. It has a tendency to fall off because that hood kind of pushes it up a little bit. So those are my complaints with the Kylo Ren. So definitely between the two, I like the Stormtrooper the best. Now these figures are out now wherever import figures are sold. We'll have a full gallery of images up at JediInsider.com. There's a link in the description below. And as always, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch you later.